Hey, thanks for tuning into the Muse Report. I'm Clee Davis, and I'm just a normal guy trying to fulfill his dreams and ambitions. I'm pretty sure we have lots in common, and we're on the same road, so you might as well join me on my journey of turning my muse into a reality. Let's go.
All right. This is the 8th episode. You know, I said I was going to stop saying actually the episode numbers because I always lose track and I say the wrong one. So it's like, okay. Yeah, I don't know how I'm losing track. I only have 8, but it's whatever. So for this episode, I have with me the president of the Oakwood student body, not the president of the free world. I don't even know if I would have him on the show, to be honest. Sidebar. Not for me, it's because of all the hate messages I would get probably. But I have the president of the student body of Oakwood University, Mr. Andrew Taylor, here with me. I've known Andrew for 3 years now, going on 4, going on 3, something like that. Great guy, upstanding guy, one of the few peers that I really look up to. Actually, it's hard to reach that level for me, but
that is very true.
But he has definitely done it. Very busy guy. Just got back from Florida, right, for an interview. So thank you for letting me fit into your busy schedule. But what I really wanted to have you on the show to talk about for this episode was leadership. Of course, you're the president of a whole student body of a university, so clearly you're a leader. But also I've noticed some things just through my observance that you're a leader in other aspects as well, not just talking to people or public speaking or administratively. There are way more things that apply to leadership than just bossing people around.
Most definitely.
But first, let me ask how it's going, how you feeling?
Oh, life is good. I'm happy to be on the show. The Muse Report, it's a pretty cool idea. I'm glad that you've taken this step on your very first episode, which I encourage everyone to listen to because
oh boy,
it's genuine. He's just saying how this is something that he's been wanting to do, so he just decided to do it. And that's just encouragement in itself. Don't be afraid to just take a chance and do something. And that's kind of just how I've been trying to live my life in general. So life is good, taking chances, but letting God lead all the same.
Good. I'm glad you listened to the first episode. If you want to listen to the first episode, it's on there. Just check it out. It's really not that great, but that was honestly kind of the point of the episode. I just did it. It wasn't at the best quality, but look at how I am, episode 8, 9, whatever it is, and it's getting better. So that was the whole point, and hopefully that continues throughout the rest of the show, that people could see how far you could get from just starting. But first question I really want to ask is, what is leadership in your own words?
Yeah, leadership is something that is needed in this world, in any society, in any part of life. And to me, it's just I guess the person as a leader kind of getting a group together or just a cohort of people and being able to help them accomplish a goal or task. But really, you're encouraging and more or less inspiring them as a group to make something really special happen for whatever initiative is going on. And leadership can happen on any level at any age. There is no cap on it, and it's never too early, because leadership is a part of kind of every human being in a sense. You just have to believe it and act on it, really.
Okay, that's perfect example. That's exactly what I would have said too. But that also jogs a question in my mind. You have leaders and you have people who follow the leaders.
Right.
Do you think that anyone has the ability to be a leader, or anyone is capable of being a leader, I guess?
I think that's a fair question, Cleavon. I think any and everyone is capable of being a leader, and I think everyone is a leader in their own right. But I also do believe that every person has a time to follow also. So when I have a leadership position as USM student body, United States Movement student body of Oakwood University. But when I go home, I'm not going to try to leave my house because my dad's going to slap me. you have your moments where you lead and then you follow, because there's learning on both sides of it, but really in leadership is when you can really like refine those attributes and kind of help somebody else grow in that sense. And I think that's why everybody's called to be a leader, because I don't think we're all just called to just eat up information and just soak up all the goodness from everyone else. We're supposed to give it back and help our future generations, and even sometimes people who are older than us. Leadership is not just for those who
can
are
learn from anyone. That perfectly aligns with what I try to do. I try to be like the best leader I can by being the best follower I can. Like if you look at lots of the successful leaders and Earth's history or even the present, they were like really observant people. Like they were like an apprentice or something. They followed somebody first, took all their stuff, and then applied it to what they were doing. I do think that everyone has the capability to be a leader, but like you said, there's a time and a place for everything to happen. You might not necessarily need to be a leader all the time, even if you have the capabilities to do so. And some people just would rather serve in that follower position. That's where I guess you're still being a leader in that position, because that's where your strengths are. But it's an interesting process. I don't know.
And and that's kind of like the beauty of it, just on those same lines. Like if I think of someone in a church who's kind of like a follower, like you think of the pastor, you think of like the deacons and the elders. Technically, like they're like following the lead of the pastor, but in their own right, they are also leading at a certain level. So I don't know. It's like, to me, it's just wherever your mindset is. Like it's kind of like what you are. Like you can kind of be a leader in a follower's position at the same time. But just quickly on those lines too, we also learned this example through Jesus, like being like a leader and like a servant leader. And then we look at his disciples, and you mentioned how like people, when they're following the leader, like they take all the good and all their lessons learned, and then they pass them on to someone else. If you look at the disciples when Jesus left, I mean, who was doing all the miracles, like who was still spreading the gospel? It's because they had paid attention while Jesus was on earth. And now you can see the fruits of his labor now.
Cool. That perfectly put. So as far as being a leader, I think some people are naturally more inclined to take leadership roles, or want to. But what are the 5? I would say I'm just putting that number out there. It could be less or more. 5 like necessities that you think a leader must have to be effective.
That's a good question, and I have 5. In starting, I have, for being an effective leader, is to have that spiritual connection. For a follower of Christ, I feel like it's absolutely necessary. So you're making sure you're going according to God's will. Because as you can see in this 2017 day and age, you can be a leader or a so-called leader and just like do all kinds of mess, or at least be in a leadership role and do all kinds of mess. And so if you're not aligned with God's will, then to me it's all futile, right? So having a spiritual connection is the first thing, and then second, I have this vision. You have to be able to not just really see what's in front of you and what's around, but you have to be able to think about what can happen next. Like you have to be very future minded, because you don't want to get stuck too busy in the present or too busy looking in the past that you're constantly behind the curve, or you're not being able to feed your audience because you're you're not paying enough attention to what's probably going to happen or might happen. So vision is very important, and being able to communicate that vision. The third thing I have is authenticity. I mean, nobody's going to listen to you or even care about you if they feel like they can't relate to you.
2017, man. Like, I think that the youngest generation right now, maybe like from grade school to like junior high school, might be the most intuitive generation I have. Like, they will spot a fake so quickly. Like, people aren't going to follow you if they don't think that you mean what you say, or like you follow through on what you say. You could just sense that authenticity in someone's message. So that's definitely something that I think should be on the list. Yo, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
Nope.
you.
Authenticity and being genuine is just something that you cannot forego in this day and age. Like you said, I mean, people can just spot it, and the next thing you know, they're on their phone, and then you've lost them, or they just won't come listen to you, won't get on your social media page or whatever.
On their phone, looking up all your false,
right,
all your false things, because they could just Google you, go on your social media. Oh wait, what's going on here? Catch you real quick.
See. And so that's why it's important to be authentic as a leader, and just really as a person in general. But my fourth point is to be organized. Organization is crucial because you can have a lot of great ideas. You can have your vision. You can be spiritually connected. You can do all these things, but if you don't make time to prepare for these things or schedule them out in your day, then you will really be ineffective because life happens and you want to be able to track and see what's going on. Mm-hmm. And that's a struggle for me. That's one of the things I've been working on this year, making sure what I have is in my calendar, and I'm following through with it because it's important. Have you ever had this feeling where it's like, okay, you're going through a seminar or something and you get like real moments of like inspiration. It's like, whoa, like I totally could do this. Or like last night I was watching college basketball and I was like, I want to play basketball so bad right now. Like that just happens. And if you wake up the next morning, you may be like super tired. You may not feel like going to play basketball, but if you had like scheduled it or something to the point where you can remember how you felt before, then it can kind of help propel you. So to me, that helps with like organization too, because it's important, but you just gotta like remember it and take yourself to that point where it's like, okay, this is really important. So
that's really interesting. Just that whole concept that you just said, like how you had that moment of like inspiration, and then like the next day is not there. That's really, I struggle with that a lot. And it's hard because, just having things to do because life is busy.
Right.
Like, you can't always take advantage of that feeling at that time because you have other things that, are higher priorities. But just figuring out how to capture those moments. Like, I wish, like, when I hear something, like I'm watching, like, a concert or something on YouTube, I'm like, man, I want to write a song, like, right now. But I don't have time to write a song right now because I'm in class.
Right.
Like, I really just want to leave, go home, and go to my keyboard. But I don't know. That's good. Organizing your day maybe around your inspirational periods. I don't know. Something that I might do another episode.
I was just about to say that.
I
was just about to say that. Don't forget that. I will definitely be listening to that
Side tangent. All right.
Yep. Yeah, and last point, which I won't have to talk long about, but it's your drive. So, just recap. So, spiritual connection, vision, authenticity, organization, and drive. Yeah, your drive is really important. You got to stay motivated. You got to stay moving in the direction that you're called to be in.
Cool. So, for now, I wanted to let the listeners know that these questions are not my questions.
Oh, okay.
These questions I actually asked, like I asked people about the topic, and these are just like the real questions that they had for themselves and just in general. So these are all real life questions, not things I just fabricated out. So how do you know when you have what it takes to be a leader and can handle all the things that come with it?
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, this was a good question. So the things that come to mind are that you're not afraid to like speak up or be in the spotlight. Not speaking in like ignorance or arrogance, but speaking to know that you can make a difference and that your voice will be heard. Because a lot of people like to speak, for one, through like Twitter, which can be in a sense effective, but sometimes it's like hiding behind something.
Yes.
When I mean speaking out, I mean like in the proper setting, not being afraid to like take the microphone and talk about what like needs to be said, because then people see you and they realize that you're articulate and that you're not afraid to speak up and talk about something that needs to be addressed. So that's one of the things I thought about. Another thing is being able to take criticism. Life is a constant refining process, and if you cannot take criticism as a human being, that's something you will have to learn how to deal with.
Oh yeah, it's something you're gonna have to cope with eventually.
Because you'll not only, I would even say that you're not even going to have criticism from people that don't like you, but more times you're going to get criticism from people who really enjoy you and might even love you because they want to see you be better. And so if you truly admire these people as friends or as family, you're going to want to know how to take criticism. Another thing is to, when you're ready for leadership, you will have goals that you want to attain. Like, I mean, even in like doing like this podcast, which is something that you've wanted to do. That's, even though I don't know how much of like a following you have on this as of now, but like you're still like you're leading. My mom.
We have a few more than my mom, but you know, you gotta start somewhere,
right? But this is like a leadership track. You're going somewhere like it's uncharted territory in like the sense of like college student, young black man, like Oakwood University, like, and so that's leadership all in its own. Like, but that was a goal of yours, and you just like went for it, and so that's admirable. Like, that's a leadership step, because a lot of leadership is inspiration, not for yourself completely, but for others. And so, I mean, you're inspiring people. So, you know, having goals, that shows a sign that you're ready for leadership. And getting people excited about what's going on, to me, is a good sign that you can help make effective change, because leadership is about change and making sure people's voices are heard, and you know, being a voice for those who don't have one.
That's that kind of, oh man, who I'm a quote person, and it's like it just reminded me of a quote that I know, and I'm trying to remember who it was by. It was like a president, like Thomas Jefferson or George Washington. I can't remember. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was one of those fake presidents, like Ben Franklin. Everyone thinks was a president, but because he's on a dollar bill, or $100 bill.
$100 bill.
But basically, what he was saying is like a leader is someone who can make people do things, or I'm paraphrasing, do work, or do something that they don't want to do and enjoy it. Like,
that's good.
I think you know that you are built for being a leader and always being in a leadership position pretty much when you feed off of other people's success. Like when you see other people inspired because of you, other people doing better, doing more work because of you, and you feed off of that and that drives you, I think you're pretty much built for it. Nice. Something that I've seen from like a lot of successful people is that they feed off of feedback. You know what I'm saying? So like all these analytics that Facebook and Twitter and advertising agencies and things like that, like they really seek what other people say about what they're doing, and they turn that into their fuel. So it's like an ongoing cycle, I guess, of leadership to followership to inspiration back to fueling leadership. But
nice.
It's an ongoing process, and I thoroughly enjoy it, and I clearly see that you enjoy it too. If you don't know, if you don't go to Oakwood, Andrew started, he didn't start it, but he kind of really put it out there, this app that we have at our school. It's a Oakwood USM app, and basically like all the notifications for what happens at the school goes on the app. If there's like a soccer game, if there's a flag football game, basketball game, career fair, whatever it is, we get to see it on the app. You can listen to the USM album on the app with our music and everything, and you kind of get to like see the feedback from how many people are tuning in. Sorry, I just heard a really high pitch. I'm ear sensitive, but it was really good because like, do you like seeing like the feedback that people have from the app, or like how many views or listens, things or whatever?
Oh yeah, it's really phenomenal. It's such a great tool. Subsplash is the company that helps us with it, and it is so nice. Yeah,
that's our sponsor for today.
Boy, if you don't,
no, it's not. Wow. We're not sponsored by anyone.
Look at you, shoot.
No.
But yeah, and they keep up with all those analytics for us on the app, and it's phenomenal really, and we plan to put out a lot more before the end of the next semester, and it's an exciting tool. OU Space USM, if anyone gets a listen and wants to download and take a peek.
Download the app. It really is good. Okay, next question was really, I thought was a good one. How do you formulate your words to communicate effectively to, whoever you're leading?
Yeah, formulating words can be tricky because you want to make sure you're getting your point across, but you don't want to be boring. So one thing I've been focusing on, which I probably haven't been doing a great job of now, but it's voice inflection. So bear with me. But that's one thing that can help keep people's attention. But also just make sure, as best as you can, try to tell the story. Like, tell a story, align with it. Because people really do listen well and can relate better to stories.
Yes.
And if they can relate to it, they can remember it better. So if you can tell a story with whatever point you're trying to get across, people can always find a way to relate and apply it to their life. And that's one of the main ways I try to formulate that communication. And also, speaking with confidence is a big point. People don't like to listen to, or can easily tune out someone if they feel like you don't really believe what you're saying. Mm-hmm. And so, if you say it with a lot of authority, you can. Not to bring up what some people call him 45, President Donald Trump. You realize a lot of people listen to him, and he says a lot of he uses a lot of simple words, and of course you see his hand. You can't see my hand now, but he has the okay. He's always doing that. But he speaks with a lot of authority. He's a businessman. He knows how to get the job done in that sense. But what he's saying really may be just ridiculous, but people are listening to him. Yeah. And people remember well because he speaks with the authority, even if it's just bogus. So imagine if you have something good to say.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast maybe 2 days ago. This podcast is The Art of Charm. If you don't listen to it, you need to listen to it. It's really good. And it was talking about the power of persuasion. And of course, they use this guy that wrote a book. He's a comic strip artist, I guess you would call it. I don't know the official name for a person who does comics, but that's what he does. And he actually let go from the company because he wrote this book that talked about predicting the Donald Trump election win. Wow. Yeah, he was basically saying Donald Trump's going to win, blah blah blah. He wasn't necessarily for Donald Trump. Now that's kind of debatable if you read the book, because it's kind of, from what you read, it sounds like he's a Trump supporter. But either way, it doesn't really matter. The point is that he used Donald Trump and his persuasive tactics, and how he conveys messages. It's really freaking incredible. Yep. Almost like the reverse psychology that's involved. And one point that he made was that he speaks with such authority, confidence, that people, even if you don't believe in what he's saying, you're going to remember what he said. And parts of that is because it's so foolish. But you're going to remember what he says. So I think that's just a really good big part of it as well, with your persuasive powers, because you want to get people to listen to you. Another question was, how do you battle inconsistencies with your group members? So you have a team, you have a cabinet that works with you. How do you control, well, not control, but affect? Right.
So, to be very honest, and I've done many personality or just character traits tests, going into several internships and so on. And you have your strengths and weaknesses, and this is definitely an area where I am improving, because I'm a big harmony and peace person, and so anytime you have to address an issue where someone needs to basically get their act together, to me that doesn't initially it doesn't have an appearance of peace. So then that's automatically contrary to how I naturally think. So I am like overcoming that like daily, you know, kind of like the problem of like overthinking too, because when the situation comes up, it's like, well, I don't want to do it, but I have to do it, and then I get stuck in my brain, and then maybe I just won't do it till, you know, maybe it's about to blow up or something.
Right.
That's just being very candid, but you know, having to be a leader, you just have to, you know, get out your comfort zone, right? So, what I try to do is just handle this situation head on, but with, you know, professionalism and caution, because you don't ever want to, you know, sit down in a meeting and call somebody out across the room, because that's not professional for one, and they'll probably be offended, so then that will probably blow up things. But, you know, if you can call them, you know, to the side afterwards and talk to them, because you probably have been hearing some things or you've observed some things, you know, you want to make sure that you can address these things. And so that's what I do. I just try to talk to them about it and see how I can help if maybe they've had too much work to do, or maybe they just need to, you know, just needed to some encouragement to get back on the right track. Because the people that are on my team, except the vice presidents, were all appointed by me. So I saw something in them, and even the vice president, because the student body voted them in. So obviously they're here for a reason. Just need some encouragement, like reminding them of why that they're here and that they are important. You know, I think that's a big deal of it. And trying to find out the reason why, you know, things have been inconsistent or so on is a big part, so you can help them adjust in that sense. Whether, you know, it's you as president or leader, finding a way or a new avenue for them to be more effective, or maybe even position them in a new role. Maybe they went in the wrong role or something like that. So there's many ways. Usually you just gotta address it. You know, don't let it simmer, because then it'll eventually blow up.
Yeah, I like went back to, like, I know every college student that's listening to this has experienced the group project. And
yes,
often I find myself, I hate it, but I often find myself being in the leadership position, and just getting people to do their part is just it's an art. It really is an art, and having to do it so much is kind of helping me, going back to one of the questions, like formulate my words in a way to communicate effectively. I'm a rather brash person. I usually say what I think, like, without coding it.
don't say it like Obama.
Yeah, don't say it like Obama, right? So me having to figure out how to be sensitive to the other person's, you know, feelings, and not only just, you know, how they feel as a human being. Of course, I'm going to take that into consideration, but just their demographic in general. Like, what point of view are they coming from? Like, how often do they work? Like, oh wait, I didn't know that they had a part-time job that they work all throughout the night doing. Maybe that's why they weren't able to get that part done. And me addressing that, saying that I understand, and saying, okay, like, how are we going to work around this together, is something that you don't really see that often. You only see it really in good leaders. And I think it's just way so much more effective than, you know, just digging and grinding into someone. Sometimes it works because people are different,
right?
But most of the time it doesn't work, especially because lots of people are sensitive to things like that. So that also kind of goes, you mentioned it, getting your team, you know, sometimes moving them in different places to keep them inspired and going through. So how do you stay motivated, creative, and fresh yourself as a leader?
Oh, well, that's a short plug, and shout out to E.T. Eric Thomas. He keeps me inspired a lot.
He was actually on the last episode.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
so you hear some things. It wasn't like I was right up to him, but you could hear what he said. I actually had three. I had Julian, E.T., and Brandon Cruz, who's an entrepreneur in the Huntsville area. So
nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So tune in to episode 7.
He's saying that to me along with you. Nice. Yeah, like, you know, it's great to find, like, new ways of inspiration. Like, I mean, the Bible, like, my devotion is something that's, like, a constant way of, like, inspiration. But it's nice hearing it from, like, someone also who comes from a different way of life, but it's found a way to stay daily motivated, and it's convincing other people of it, too. So, I give a lot of credit to, like, inspirational videos and so on. And I'm a big reader, like, all kinds of books, all the way from, like, The Audacity of Hope from Barack Obama, all the way to, like, like Turtles All the Way Down, which is a new book by John Green. Like,
one.
yeah, it's pretty new, and like, I'm a big like fiction and so on. And the reason I like those are because fiction is really important for like, this is gonna be a weird word, but like dream growth. So like, I am a huge, like, I don't know if people know this, but I really like to dream. Like, it's because I think I'm a very like spiritual, and like I look forward to the second coming a lot. So sometimes I try to imagine like what it would be like, and I have really cool like, you know, thoughts in my brain, and then still it says that like I still can't even imagine what it'll be like. Right. So when I read books and I get a new perspective from someone, whether it's a real story or not, it's really inspiring, because it's like, wow, like that's a new way to see life. Like, I'm fascinated with life and how everyone can be so different, but at the same time we can still find commonalities and inspiration through just daily, you know, walks of life. It's really cool. So reading is a good one for me, and looking at my friends too, like seeing what some of my friends are doing, like after school, family members, like my brother's in graduate school, and you know, it's exciting. Like, my dad's doing well, my mom, you know, and I have like friends who do different things in different areas of life. But if you pay attention to it and you're not, you know, spiteful or prideful, like, you can use that as like, wow, like I have a chance to be successful in this world that is otherwise a cruel place, you know. So you can still see how, you know, through God's will, He has a plan for you on this earth, and then afterwards, you know, you can live in a better place. But those are my like inspirations.
You just inspired me, man. You just inspired me to read fiction books. I haven't read like fiction since maybe like 7th grade, something like that. Like, fiction was just never my thing. Like, I could just never finish. Okay. Well, no, that's not true. I if it's a really good story, I would finish it. But I'm just a really nonfiction person. But I never thought of fiction in that way. Like, I feel like it could like really get my creative juices flowing. I'm telling you. So I think I'm going to get into like some more fiction stuff. Thank you, Andrew.
Plenty of good books for you.
Yes,
so
give me that list.
I got you, man.
And also what you said about, you know, just that motivation from those dreamy things for what is to come, like in people's life. Like, I look around and I see, like, you know, you, Andrew, doing quite well with what you're doing. You're about to graduate soon. I know you're going to be successful. You're going to be my accountant. And just like other people who are already in their career fields, it like drives me like, oh yeah, like I can't slack now because like that's surrounding yourself by people who are doing good things is like one of the best motivators you can have.
Listen to that, please. Cleavon, say that again, please.
Dude, I addressed it. What episode was that? Fucking all my episodes, like episode 2 or something. Like, just surrounding yourself by good-minded people who have their head on the right track is like one of the best motivators, because you are who you hang out with. You really are. So if you're with people who don't have ambition and don't like being leaders or lead in the wrong direction, you're probably going to go down that direction slowly but surely.
Right.
And if you really wanted the best for yourself, man, find the people are out there. Find those good motivational influencers in your life.
True.
Directly mentor-wise, peer-wise, or mentee-wise. You can get inspired by someone that you're helping out too. So you never know. We're getting a little past our I don't like to make really long episodes because, you know, I don't like listening to really long episodes on podcasts. But we're almost done. But a few other really good questions I wanted to ask you. How do you deal with failure as a leader? Now, this is a really good one because people are really scared of failing a lot, including myself.
Failure is a stepping stone. Failure is what you make it. Some people even say failure does not exist. It's just an opportunity to improve. That's something that I don't know if I fully agree with him on that.
You're right.
That's why sometimes you do fail.
No, sometimes you fail. It's okay though.
Right. I mean, you have this moments that's just like, wow, that was pretty bad. But sometimes I'd say, okay, let's look at it like this. I've reached a point in my life where there is literally not one thing in my life that I regret. Because to me, everything in your life happens for a reason, whether you like purposely did it or it was a complete accident. That's just kind of how like your sinful life mixed with your God-given will like kind of just like has collided, and that's just kind of like who you are in that sense. So I don't regret anything. And with that said, then it's like, okay, so then there's failures along my past. But now it's just like, okay, so I can look at it as a stain, or it's like, how have I now learned from that situation to make me a better individual? Because really those things that you failed at, you could relate to somebody better now, because somebody else is going to fail from the same thing. It's going to happen, no matter what it is. I don't care if you are in jail for 30 years. Like, somebody probably had worse than you, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Like, and so all those things can be now, they're now relational pieces that can help you grow as an individual. I mean, there's lots I can say on that, but I just encourage you, as I encourage myself right now, to, like, not be afraid of failure. It's one thing I vow to myself, like, not to be afraid of adventure. I have, like, 4 things that I truly, like, pride myself in being every day. Like, the first thing is the love of Christ. The second thing is to be faithful to my family. The third thing is to be an outstanding business person. And the fourth thing is to be, is to not be afraid of adventure. And to me, adventure comes with successes and failures. And so you just can't be afraid of it. Walk in your light, leave it in God's hands.
I think if you can count the number of failures you've had on your hand, then you haven't lived.
True.
That means that your life is really boring, because like, if you step out of your comfort zone, there is 100% chance that you're going to fail at some point. And if you don't fail, then you're going to stay stagnant because you're not going to grow. So I think failure is just, a point of life. I do believe it exists, though.
Yeah.
I don't count it out. And even though we can code it in different words, I think just coping with that it exists is way more therapeutic to me. I don't know. Maybe it's better to just avoid the word. I don't know. But it's just something that comes with venturing into new territory. And that's honestly one of the whole points of this whole podcast. It's just me going out and doing things.
Right.
I recently went to New York for the Spotify conference, which was just like a step of like me just putting myself out there, like going through the process to get my application in and everything, honestly thinking that I was going to fail and not get it. It wouldn't have hurt me too bad because I already put in my mind that I was not going to get it. But the Lord surprised me, and I had an opportunity to like really step out of my comfort zone. I had to talk to like so many people, and I'm a natural introvert. Talking to people, like, I'm good once I get started, but the first encounter, I had to do a lot of that. I'm getting better at it because I was doing it so much, because I was pretty much put in a place where I was forced to. But it wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have had so much to talk about, if I didn't step out and do this podcast, which was a big speaking point. Go out online and do the application, and also just not be afraid of what people might think when I initially go and talk to them, and turn to find out that pretty much all of them were like me. So it's just an ongoing experience. This is the last one, and I think this is a really good one. How do you gain the commitment and trust of those you are leading?
Oh, yeah. That's a really good one. This kind of tags on along the lines of a question we answered earlier, but the thing I lead with is literally being myself. So you have to be careful with that. But I mean, of course, that falls under authenticity, like being genuine.
Yeah.
But I want like us to be very aware of this. So being yourself is what you were placed on this earth to be, but realize that we were born and shaped in iniquity. So before you're yourself in Christ, which is what I'm putting out, myself in Christ, make sure that in you being yourself, you're also ridding yourselves of the things that will honestly keep you on earth. Like, if you understand what I'm saying, like, there are some parts of you that naturally are not beneficial to society, are not like, how do I say this, are not like even like Christ-centered in a sense. Like you want to be able to be yourself, but you don't want to, I guess, be too comfortable in yourself, because then you're dependent on yourself. But you want to not put on a face for people in the long run. So like, okay, so now you're past the phase of those, maybe those simple qualities. You have found yourself in Christ, and then you want to put that forward no matter what, because then people will be able to relate to you, no matter what kind of personality you have. And there's a plethora of beautiful, different personalities in Christ. You just want to put that forward because you want people to be able to relate to you. And if they can't do that, they have a hard time listening to you. That's the first thing I lead with. And then in the sense of like, kind of like togetherness, it's kind of like with bringing our team, getting them to like kind of trust me kind of thing. You want to have purposeful events and things to, create that atmosphere of almost like family style, even though you're not related. You want to be able to create an environment where people feel like they can voice what they truly think and not be afraid of what you have to say or the environment, because it's so maybe like professional or judgmental. You don't ever want to be judgmental, because none of us deserve to cast a stone.
Right.
So you want to create like as much of a judgment-free environment as possible, and you always want to be genuine. Those are things I lead with for sure.
Definitely. That's honestly why I have you specifically on this show. Andrew is definitely the epitome of being himself, and everyone respecting him so much for that. Just your consistency is incredible over like your moral values, your beliefs, the things that you speak when you do lead, and they perfectly align up with what you do on a daily basis. And I think that's why you're so effective. People just love seeing the real you. Like even if that real you may not be the most positive thing, people will respect you and love you for that if you are just at one with that thing. Even myself, like some people just get so caught up in trying to put on a facade of living up to other people's standards or trying to be in or cool or whatever it is. And that's okay temporarily. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying it's okay. It's okay to yourself temporarily, and then eventually after a while you're going to realize that you're still not fulfilled and there's still something missing and you're not completely happy. So right now that's like my thing. Like I'm trying to be like the best myself that I could be, unapologetically. Is that a word?
Yeah.
All right. That was a lot of syllables.
Wow, that is a lot of syllables.
But yeah, just trying to be genuinely myself, and I've been doing that, or trying to do that for the past couple months, and it's honestly reaped so many benefits. Like people are coming to me saying, "Wow, like you're actually inspiring me with what you're doing," and just having your like lifestyle align with what you preach as a leader. I think that might be the one or the most important aspect, because that is what drives people to follow you. Wow, you inspire me. I hope I was able to give you some things in our conversation, but I really enjoyed that. I think we could draw this episode to a soon close. If you want to say any last words, I don't know, drop a plug or something. I don't know.
Really quick. Oh no, this is just for my friend Clee, and I will not be long, but like I see what you're saying, even beyond just the past few months of you trying to purposefully just kind of like walk and like who you really are. Like Cleveland, you've been doing it. Like I just want to like continue to like encourage you and like be a friend to you, because ever since our first year, like our real connection, for those who don't know, came in like Aeolian's choir. Like this is where we got to like be friends for real, and basketball of course kind of like gelled it. But I mean, it's great when you see growth and like you're really close friends, and I'm proud of you, man. Like I want you to keep doing this.
Appreciate
like I know, like the one thing I know that you really like doing this is because like podcasts aren't like the most popular thing. Like they're really like they're starting to like
they're starting to pick back up. They're coming back around. Audio is in the future,
right?
So.
But like, I mean, I know you really like to do this because I mean, people would make a YouTube channel or like you know to do different things, but like this is right up like your alley, and I just want you to like continue to stay strong with it. Like when maybe you feel like this isn't working for you, go back to the end of this episode. Listen, like Cleveland, I need you to keep doing this because this is like I feel like something you really like doing. Like we have these conversations all the time, but they're not just recorded. But like, dude, this is something you're really like blessed at, God-given gift. So continue on, be strong, and you know, thanks for those who will listen.
Appreciate that so much. I just remembered something that I started it like on the first guest I had on the show. I always ask a really like dumb but not dumb question, and I forgot to prepare one.
Oh, I see.
So, what I'm going to ask for this episode is, oh, this is so stupid.
Okay.
This is off the dome.
Okay.
Oh wait, did I ask that already?
I don't know.
I didn't post it. I think I might have asked it though. I don't want to do that. Then the person will know. All right. If you put hot sauce in the heater in the microwave,
Oh my gosh.
does it become really hot sauce? Or is
Boy,
this episode's over? I can't do
That's
it.
awesome, though. I never thought about that. Wow, it probably is literal hot sauce. It's just
Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in to the Muse Report for this episode. If you made it this far, you are the realest and I will love you forever. If you liked it, press the like button. If you really liked it, click the repost button, share with your uncle, your auntie, your friend, your best friend, your acquaintances, whoever. Just get the word out. If there's something that you didn't like, I am open to suggestions and I'm here to learn because I'm a student of the game. So just hit me up in the DMs. You can follow me on my social media, Instagram and Twitter at @IM_Clee Davis. Until next time and until next episode, keep making your muse into reality.
Hey guys, Clee here. Thanks so much for listening to the Build Your Vision podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I would think you did if you stayed all the way to the end. The best thing that you could do to help support this show is by sharing it with somebody. By you just taking a few seconds to recommend this show to somebody, you are making a huge impact, not only on the success of this show, but possibly on that person's life.